Hello and welcome to the semi-finals of the 8-bit Game Replays Ladder Wars tournament. This is the match between ProvenSupreme, who is right now up here in the light blue playing Marines, and iBaWs, who is down here in the red playing the Lightbringers. Our boy Dissonant is out in New York having a look around Trump Tower, getting that tourist experience going on. So I am going to be sort of doing more of a cast of some of these games to sort of make up for that, to go on to the game replays section of the site. So ProvenSupreme now right here, starting with a very standard Marine build, more of a me and Netput style Marine build than his own, which is normally more economically focused, but he's going with our safer, more ogre heavy builds to start off, especially against Lightbringers. This makes sense. Lightbringers have a lot of trouble against this sort of early ogre aggression. I've also I've heard from chatter in the 8-bit Armies Discord that ProvenSupreme was playing random in this series and likely in the last series as well. So we can expect that his armies will change up throughout this. So this is kind of interesting. The second I've forgotten the name of it now. Sorcerer's Tower. The second Sorcerer's Tower coming out before the expansion goes down. This is very clearly meant to be a defense against early ogre aggression. Very interesting that he would do this and that he thinks that this is viable. This is something to look at if you are a Lightbringers player who is having trouble with ogre aggression. Maybe this is the answers. We'll have to see. I'm interested in this play. I'm not sure I like wasting the time on a Water Elemental that's really not going to help you in the fight, but it does give you a lot of scouting potential that just having Sorcerers won't give you as they waddle about really slowly. But here we go. Here's two ogres coming in. Now, this should be hard for iBaWs really to hold off. I think ProvenSupreme might be being even a bit too scared there. I think he could have just sort of walked into these, had them running about. You need to remember that these cannot attack and move, so they're just going to spend most of their time running away from you. So Water Elemental just sort of running around in his base, going to get scared away. I mean, he's not finding out much that he couldn't know anyway. He's got a Harpy out there. Oh, and he has... Ooh, this might show a slight inexperience with playing too much Marines. He tried to tech without putting down another power. You need to have that power down. It does slow down your troops a bit if you're going to go for air. But if you're not going to go for air, you need to have that power down as soon as you finish this. It also gives you a good time to get that 4th Harvester out, which he has got out. So, but I'm assuming he had to cut Marines for that. And it does look by the number of Marines that he did have to do that. So now we're getting more of these out, which now start to make sense because there will be Harpies and Marines in this army, which they will get a take out. I'm still surprised to see so many of them. I'm used to far more Sorceress heavy combinations of units, but this is a very interesting play from iBaWs and a very interesting way to beat Marines, and I would like to see if this is a possible way for them to play. He is not teching at all to those big strong units, the trees and the rangers. He is just going full out Sorceress Water Elemental. Water Elementals to tank a bit and to deal with the Marines and the Harpies in the front line, and then the Enchantresses to deal with these. Okay, these need split. They have been split. Yep. All the first ogre did not crush all of those. It's going all right for Proven, but these are all at very low health now, and there are just so many of these Sorceress Towers out that, like, they're just never-ending waves of Sorceress. Look how fast they're coming out. Boop, boop, boop. And he holds off this aggression. Now, this was a bad idea. I would assume that he was making them to fight trees, but he now knows that there aren't There aren't any trees. So I don't know why he's still making them. Yeah, manticores are really not good in this situation. They, unlike ogres, cannot walk and fire, so they do not have the sort of crush potential that ogres have. They also do inferior damage against ground troops. So even though their DPS is higher than ogres, in this situation, against this army, they will actually be doing less damage. Quite significantly less as well. There also was some harass that apparently I missed, because these do not exist. This is something that is very good to do against invaders, is to send around stuff. And enchantresses do, look, this is just one enchantress there. They do a lot of damage to these. Imagine if there was a harvest of this side and how much damage that would be. But it looks like there might be a fight in the middle of the map here. Now, look at how much damage is not being done by these manticores. And now he can simply split up the top so that it's harder for them to get the crushes. And unless they get some mega crushes, manticores just do not win this fight. Oh, and there are some good crushes going on. But decent splitting. And then a wyvern as well, which equally you can see not really any use at all against this army composition. I think this might be a show of not playing enough Marines. This might be one of the sort of problems of playing random, is that you get these armies that you're not good at. What he wants right now is probably Harpies, Ogres, and Gremlins. Maybe even tech up to Gorgons would be good, but definitely not Manticores or Wyverns. You just have a good amount of Marines now. Is this? It looks like this is just off of one factory, but he is to a single enchantress losing a harvester there. He's got a load of enchantresses going here, which would have got a harvester kill if there was a harvester there. He's got now a few coming up here to kill this harvester, so he's now seriously running out of money. He is losing this harvester here. He needs to have some Marines on these harvesters to defend them, really. And he's sending Wyverns to defend them, but that's actually an awful idea. This is something that I thought when you get them as well. You're like, oh yeah, the Wyverns will defend them. But, like, if there was more than one Enchantress there, this Wyvern wouldn't actually kill it in time. If there was two Enchantresses there, maybe the Wyvern wouldn't get it in time. If there was three, the Wyvern has no chance. That was not quite, probably a little hotkey error there. Still making manticores. I do know he started to make some ogres now, which is good. And the wyverns were starting to number up. But the problem here is that wyverns in this situation, they will get really strong when you have so many that they're just hard to kill. But he doesn't have any gremlins to repair anything. So these enchantress water elementals can just chip down at his force. And this is an incredibly odd game, because there is still absolutely no tech coming in from iBaWs. And he just takes it out. Now, we do have to put a slight damper on this game to say, I think if Proven's army composition made more sense, that perhaps he would have had a better time. If he had saved money on the Wyverns and the Manticores, gone fully Ogre Marine with some Gremlins, and then teched up to Gorgons, I think he would have done a lot better against this army specifically. And then maybe this army would not have worked. But this is definitely a very interesting, different way to play Lightbringers that might work against Marines. Because if you can get to enough of a mass of Enchantresses, I think there's too many Water Elementals in this army, but if you can get to a large enough a mass of Enchantresses that an army of ogres are no longer that scary to you, and you have enough water elementals to clear out the Marines in front of them, that could be an answer. Now, of course, the problem with this, as you can see, all of these, he's got the 6 sorceress towers there to pump out troops, and unfortunately, pretty much all of this army is made from the sorceress tower, so he can't make water elementals and enchantresses at the same time. But it's an interesting, different strategy. And I'm very glad to have seen this.